keeping us busy and on our toes today. I keep thinking about the big banks, Matt, and the outperformance there, just the blockbuster numbers. And, you take a look at the KBW Bank Index, it's up more than 4%, so outperforming the overall market. Looking forward to kind of the rest of the banks to kind of come out with their numbers.
Yeah, still waiting on Bank of America. We'll get that one tomorrow morning. When you talk crucial moments of the day, I mean, it was before the market opened. It was when that CPI report came out, Vonnie, I think. Look no further than Bitcoin.
Really?
Yeah, I did it. I did it. Mm-hmm. Hit $100,000 once again. Finally, back up there. 99,500 per Bitcoin right now.
Problem is, you probably mentioned it on air. I did too, and then it dipped back below $100,000. So we jinxed the Bitcoin community. Sorry about that, Bitcoin community. I'm also just, curious as to how this market is going to react for the rest of the week. Don't forget, we also get Joe Biden's sort of exit speech tonight.
I will never forget not buying Bitcoin at $75 a pop. It's painful.
But
every time.
Matt, you would still be here with us.
Of course.
Had you done that?
I mean, it's only $100 grand. It's not $1 million.
I wouldn't quit my job just because I made a few $100 million.
Really?
Really?
Oh, yeah, $100 million. That would be fine.
There you go. Closing bell. And what a rally. Not quite the level, I don't believe, that we saw in November of 2023 when the S&P was up a solid 2%. That was the last time you had such a big move up on a CPI day. But we do have a gain of 1 2/3%, almost 700 points on the Dow Jones Industrial Average, 43,214 the level there. The S&P 500 up 1.8%, more than 100 points on the day to 5950, and the NASDAQ gaining 2.5% to 19,511, Carol.
Yep, I call that a rally, no doubt about it. Hey, Matt, I'm going to go back to the S&P 500, up the most since November of 2024, so early November of last year. And if you look at the S&P 500, Vonnie, you've got most names in the index higher today, 369 names, 369 to the upside, 134 to the downside.
Yeah, it's very, very tough if you look in the map to actually find a company that's in the red. Look at that tiny, tiny little sliver up there. You're talking about a couple of consumer staple companies, but consumer discretionary sort of took the lead, right? The group as a whole was up 3%. So consumer staples, perhaps things like food and beverage and tobacco down, and just pulling that down by just 0.1%. We're really talking about green across the board here.
All right, so let's get to, I had so much to choose from.
Carol
Tim
Master,
was,
that's enough.
He was super, super jealous. A lot of names to choose from. So I kind of went to an index to kick it off, just to represent all of the big banks, because every name, 24 in the KBW Bank Index, are higher today, folks. And so the index overall up more than 4% in today's session. The 4 largest U.S. banks, as you know, reported their numbers before the open. The second most profitable year ever in 2024, driven by interest rate moves, investment banking fees, and market swings. So, whether it's Goldman, whether it's Wells, whether it's Citi, helped up by news of a $20 billion buyback. All of them really just up across the board. Another name that really caught my attention, this is the number 2 gainer in the NASDAQ 100, Intuitive Surgical. This one up 7.6% here, and it may be a record close. I got to pull it up. I'm going to do that. In the meantime, this is after the company reported preliminary revenue for the fourth quarter that beat the average analyst estimate, and it is, I believe, at a record close in today's session. And then here's something a little bit different. Beacon Roofing Supply, ticker is BECN. It's a $7.3 billion market cap roofing and building materials company rallying. This is after QXO, that's the company run by Brad Jacobs, former CEO of United Rentals, United Waste. He proposed buying the company for $124.25 in change. The stock closing at $117 and change. That deal, an offer in cash, implying a total deal value of about $11 billion. So that's about a 37% premium to Beacon's 90-day average price. So this one was definitely a standout in today's session, Tim. All right. What did you find, Tim?
Yeah, not much. Well, in a market with so much buying across the board, kind of hard to find decliners, but I did it, guys. Southwest Airlines down 1 percentage point exactly. Why do you call it that, Matt?
Some say.
Well, why are they down, right? I mean, just way too many cancellations and delays.
But they could go from Southwest to Southwest very easily, right?
Maybe that is the perfect segue. The U.S. Transportation Department.
There are any lawyers out there watching.
The U.S. Transportation Department suing the company earlier today for allegedly violating rules that require airlines to set and meet realistic flight schedules. According to the government, the carrier was responsible for, quote, chronically delayed flights that disrupted passengers' travel plans. The Department of Transportation said it would seek maximum civil penalties. Southwest, in a statement, said it was, quote, disappointed that DOT chose to file the lawsuit over 2 flights that occurred more than 2 years ago. Still, we did see shares fall after that news broke. And Vonnie, you mentioned tobacco companies. Shares of Altria Group, ticker MO, down 0.6%. All tobacco company shares, or should say multiple shares of tobacco companies, fell after the FDA said it's pushing ahead with plans to cap nicotine levels in cigarettes. The FDA saying that it would cap nicotine levels at 0.7 of a milligram of nicotine per gram of tobacco. The average nicotine content in the top 100 cigarette brands for 2017 was 17.2 milligrams for each gram of tobacco.
Cigarettes.
So that's quite a difference. Well, you bring up a good point, and hence why the stock is lower. The proposed move is designed to make it easier for smokers to quit and to prevent others from starting. So do the math. If they're less addictive, if they're easier to quit, if people don't start as much, it probably means fewer cigarettes, Matt.
It's not, I mean, actually, I've been watching Landman lately.
Oh,
yeah. I have one episode left. Don't spoil it.
They must be sponsored by Marlboro. I mean, so many people smoking in that show. But in real life, I mean, people smoke weed, right? But no one smokes cigarettes anymore.
I think the rates certainly have declined in the U.S. Outside of the U.S. is still a growth area for some of these companies.
But interestingly, Tim, did you see that they have actually banned it outdoors in Milan now, which I thought was fascinating because Milan is a place where 1 in 4 smoke still. I mean, Europe is obviously much bigger of a smoking community still than the United States.
That's a really big deal.
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. Hey, finally, I did find one more decliner. Albertsons companies fell 1.5%. The grocery store operator, Matt, said it will implement layoffs. They said, quote, after many years of productivity efforts, we recently turned our attention to our general and administrative expenses and made the difficult decision to reduce the size of our corporate division support workforce. Shares down about 1.5%.
I just want to point out that I have had a lovely time whenever I've flown Southwest. It's just too easy.
Is that the lawyers or Southwest that call?
I have flown Southwest. You know, it's one of those planes, airlines where you hop, do the hops.
Puddle jumpers.
And you know, I've always really liked it. In terms of yields right now, we had at one point the biggest drop in 10-year yields since August. In fact, I see the 10-year yield down 14.3 basis points. We could be there with that at 4.649%. So under 465 on the 10-year. A week ago, that still felt really high, but right now it feels just relaxing. You can see the 30-year yield up down 10 basis points at 487, and the 20, which is my favorite tenor, still at 494.46.
Hey, I just want to point out, too, the market's fear gauge, the VIX, collapsing the most this year. It was down 2.6 points to 1608. So just interesting to see a huge market reset, but we certainly could get this again. Hey, folks, one story on our radar has to do with the fires out on the West Coast and the entertainment industry. Hollywood studios, Walt Disney resuming filming TV shows indoors with the exception of one series. So we're starting to see some of the activity in the entertainment industry come back on the West Coast, the LA area. Okay,
so you mentioned Walt Disney. Work on the film The Hand That Rocks the Cradle has also resumed. Walt Disney said last week a number of film and television productions in LA fell by about half from a year ago, of course, due to those wildfires burning in the region. That's according to Film LA. Vonnie, those fires still not out yet.
No, and a tough road ahead, and the wind is going to be crazy this week as well. So you do like to see as many parts of the market that can get back up on its feet and keep things kind of moving as possible. And of course, that industry is just paramount, literally, to Hollywood. The story that we were looking at is maybe a little bit less serious, although
it's serious.
Could be a Hollywood movie.
Yeah, anyone seen Jurassic Park?
Well, exactly, Tim, because apparently if this company called Colossal Biosciences is able to do it, we could actually see extinct animals like the dodo and the Tasmanian tiger, and particularly the woolly mammoth, make a comeback. Now, some scientists say, yeah, but will they be the same ones as existed hundreds and thousands of years ago, or will they be sort of weird, sort of modern incarnation of a woolly mammoth? I wouldn't want to meet one either way, honestly.
I think this is awesome. And although I have seen Jurassic Park and I understand the lessons from which we could take, I still think we should do it.
Dino DNA. So you just the DNA is saved in the blood of a fly stuck in amber. Is that how it works?
Oh.
don't know.
Goldblum.
Maybe
Yes, thank you.
maybe we should try and solve climate change first.
Still?
Saying.
In
I
Trump
think that's
2.0?
a good idea.
Haven't we?
Well,
wasn't
actually,
Okay.
this company is actually trying to do a little bit of that as well, though, Carol. Did you notice? Yeah, they are trying to work on some climate-related, things like plastics in the oceans and so on. So, good luck to them. At least they're ambitious.
Yeah, love to see that. That would be a very, very good thing. All right, guys, that's a wrap. Our cross-platform radio, TV, YouTube, Bloomberg Originals. We call it Closing Bell. We'll see you again, same time, same place tomorrow.